It was 1 a.m. in the morning and Donald Trump was having a meltdown. His behavior so utterly demented. Post after post on social media, email after email, each one more desperate than the next. Let me tell you what he was doing on a day where those disgusting photos of him and Epstein, along with the courageous survivors and others, were released by Democrats in the House Oversight Committee. Donald Trump is not handling it well. By the way, he claimed in the Oval Office, "I know nothing about Epstein. I know nothing about it." Those photos beg to differ, Donald. So here's what he was posting at 1 a.m. And before sharing it with you, just a reminder, hit subscribe, help us get to 6 million subscribers. You may think you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, but you may not actually be. And you know we're under attack from this regime, so hit subscribe. Here's what Donald Trump was posting at 1 a.m. He goes, "Republicans in the Indiana State Senate who voted against a majority in the U.S. House of Representatives should be ashamed of themselves. Headed by a total loser named Rod Bray, every one of these people should be primaried, and I will be there to help!" Indiana, which I won big, is the only state in the union to do this! You mean voted against a majority in the U.S. House of Representatives? I mean, he's just outright talking about rigging the midterms. And by the way, you see the post from the lieutenant governor of Indiana, who is like, now as a result of the fact that the Indiana state senators didn't deliver for Donald Trump, Trump said that he would defund our state and not give us emergency aid and not fund the highways, and he'd go after all of the federal funding owed to Indiana. Yeah, that's called extortion. That's called a crime. And in normal times, these types of crimes would lead to a criminal, a felon, a sexual abuser like Donald Trump getting moved the hell out of the Oval Office and impeached. But with a corporate media environment that tries to normalize this behavior, and the MAGA Republicans in the House and Senate who have forfeited their role under Article 1, we're in a different situation. But that will be changing soon, as I believe there will be a blue tsunami of massive proportions coming in 2026. What's Donald Trump also posting super late last night? Trump, most important president in maybe 100 years. Most important in the sense of destroying the United States, maybe. Then Donald Trump posted this late at night. Trump's rollback of energy regulation is an affordability bullseye. Oh yes, Donald. All of the Americans are feeling that affordability bullseye. Yes, Donald, everyone feels exactly like you've said, like it's a golden age. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Donald Trump has destroyed the United States economy. Inflation is surging. Jobless claims are up 54% year over year, about 1.2 million job losses this year already. And again, in normal times, this would be front page news every single day. But that's why you have the MeidasTouch network, because we bring you the facts, we bring you the truth. And again, that's why we need you to subscribe and help us hit 6 million subscribers. Oh, and as war is raging across the world, never have we been closer to the brink, being on the brink of a world war. Perhaps we're already in one right now, and it's not being called that. Donald Trump goes, Trump, peacemaker in chief. By the way, I noticed as I was scrolling through his social media platform late last night and this morning, there are ads every other post essentially for ICE. Join ICE today, 50,000 signing bonus. So as ICE is going around terrorizing and torturing the American people, disappearing people to concentration camps, by the way, including the mother of Caroline Leavitt's nephew, is ICE paying Donald Trump's social media platform massive amounts of money to advertise on Trump's failing social media platform? We're going to dig into that on the MeidasTouch network, because it seems that they're certainly advertising and they must be paying the Trump regime a lot. So then Donald Trump was sending these emails late last night as well and into the morning. This is a real email that Donald Trump sent. This isn't AI. I'm not making it up. This is a real email. "Are you seriously ignoring me?" is the subject line. Then you open it up and it says, "I am President Donald J. Trump. Exclamation point. I haven't heard back in so long. Please take a look. Let's talk. I've been messaging you privately, but you haven't answered yet. Are you seriously ignoring me? I thought we were closer than that. Respond to Trump. My team set up a 60-second confidential interview so I can hear directly from you, my most loyal supporter. But I can only keep this secure poll open until 11:59 p.m. tonight. Nobody else will see your answers. This is just between us. Then he sent another one. Do you see the meltdown that I'm talking about here? Then he posts, Dear Ben, I'm thinking of having you over at the White House soon. Would you come? Fireside chat with Trump. No, I wouldn't. Now, while all of this is taking place, and Donald Trump is not sleeping, we know from his cabinet he never sleeps, apparently, which is a sign of Alzheimer's and dementia, in my opinion. One of the people who also can't sleep, or a group of people who can't sleep, are the victims of David Gentile's fraud. David Gentile was involved in a $1.6 billion Ponzi scheme that defrauded thousands of investors, many of whom were older Americans living on fixed incomes. He had a fake private equity company. He was a predator. He was a sicko. He was a fraud. He's a felon. He was convicted of these crimes. And Donald Trump just pardoned him a few weeks back. But you're hearing now from the victims who have been re-victimized by Donald Trump pardoning this fraud. So Trump is pardoning human traffickers, the biggest Ponzi scheme fraudsters that they are, the biggest drug traffickers that there are in the world. El Chapo's best bud, Juan Orlando Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, would stick that cocaine up the gringo's nose and kill him. Sentenced to 45 years in prison for bringing 500 tons, massive amounts of drugs into the United States. But for the Trump regime, pardon, because there's no individual and no regime more corrupt than Trump and his despicable regime. But, they have state regime media, the way North Korea has regime media and Russia has regime media. We have Fox regime media. And then they have Maria Bartiromo, who's just a total clown. Was she ever serious 20 years ago? I don't remember. But whatever the hell this shtick is so pathetic. And she's like, when Donald Trump says affordability is a hoax, it is a hoax. Everyone's doing good. People are doing much better. This is way better than Biden. Here, play this clip.
People are frustrated with housing and the price of homes. People are frustrated with certain food items. But there are a number of things that President Trump has already been incredibly successful doing. So when he says this affordability issue is a hoax, he's right. He's basically talking about how the Democrats have taken this word affordability and used it as their calling card for the 2026 elections. They think that these Democrat wins that we just saw in Miami, in New York City, in other places like New Jersey, we shouldn't be surprised that the Democrats won those races. These are all blue states and cities, so it's no surprise there. What is a surprise is that after all of these years, the Republicans keep getting rolled over by the Democrats' messaging. I got to tell you, I don't think that people really feel as bad as the Democrats are talking about. The economy is doing well. There's $18 trillion of new investment that have come into this country.
Do you see the gaslighting? Then you have Laura Ingraham with Mike Johnson, with MAGA Mike Johnson, and they say the same thing. Here, play this clip.
How do you avoid getting blamed for this? The same kind of thing happened in the shutdown in October. We all know what they promised on Obamacare. It was all a lie at the time. I fought against it morning, noon, and night, 3 hours a day on the radio. So they were lying then. And we knew they were lying because the numbers didn't add up. But now the left is blaming you and Republicans. It's your fault.
Yeah, of course. It's a total fiction. The mainstream media, of course, parrots the talking points of Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. But the way we defeat that is with the simple truth, the facts. The Government Accountability Office just came out with a new report this past week, Laura, and it is astounding. Just for example, over the last 2 years, they submitted 24 totally fraudulent applications for these Unaffordable Care Act subsidies, okay? 23 out of 24 were approved. There were no Social Security numbers provided, no verification of income, or even citizenship, okay? Of course not, right? Tens of thousands of dollars paid to each one of those to the insurance companies for people that do not exist, okay?
Now, I want to it's so ridiculous. We all, like, the level of, like, they think we're stupid. They think we're dumb. Okay, we know inflation. We know inflation is surging. Things are more expensive. How do we know we go out? People can't afford the same Christmas presents or holiday presents if they can afford it at all. People are living paycheck to paycheck if they're lucky enough to have a paycheck to paycheck, and they're being psychologically tortured along the way. People can't afford homes. People are getting laid off, and the billionaires are getting richer while Americans are getting screwed. That's what's happening in the real world. You can't gaslight us. That's what's happening in the real world. And by the way, those pictures of Donald Trump with the young girls with their faces redacted, or young ladies, it's unclear their age. They look very young, but with the redactions, you just don't know. But these Epstein survivors or other young girls in these photos that were part of the Epstein estate photos, 95,000 photos, only a small group have been released so far, 19, and Trump's like all over them with these little girls and young people. There are Trump condoms. I'm huge, with Donald Trump's face on it in Epstein's photo book. There is, so next to the photos of Trump with young girls, Trump on an airplane with a young girl or lady, Trump condoms, I'm huge. There's also extreme restraints, pussy pumps is what it's called, a pussy pump. I don't know what this complete shibari thing is, but it looks like a young girl who's bound and gagged up. There's this latex glove sexual thing, which I don't know what that's used, nor do I think I want to know. There's the jawbreaker gag. There's terms and conditions and disclaimer of warranty. Failure to follow the instructions on this gag can lead in serious injury and death. The hell is going on? That's not a smoking gun enough for you? That's not a smoking gun enough for you? Here's what Harry Enton says is how the American people feel about Donald Trump and MAGA Mike talking about health care. Play this clip.
We talk about health care.
Yeah.
What do Americans say? How do Americans rate the president right now on the issue of health care?
Just flat out awful. In fact, it's the worst of his major issues. I mean, just take a look here. This is according to the new AP North poll. 29%. He doesn't even reach 30% on it. Approve of the job. I was looking back at all the AP North polls. This ties for his lowest rating ever in either term 1 or term 2. Disapprove more than double. 69%, runs 40 points higher than the approval. That is gosh darn awful. It's horrendous. And when you look at Republicans, even 39% of Republicans say they disapprove. When we're talking about 2/5 of the Republican base saying they disapprove of Donald Trump on a particular issue, you know that the American people are against him. And I should point out this 29% is no outlier. I was looking at the Fox News poll. That was sub 35% as well. The bottom line is Americans very much dislike Donald Trump in healthcare. It is no wonder he's taking a more conciliatory tone.
All right. The immediate issue at hand is the extension of these Obamacare subsidies. They expire within 3 weeks. What do voters say they want to see there?
Extend it. They want to see him extended. I mean, this, once again, what are we talking about here? We're talking about a clear majority of the American public say they want those expiring ACA subsidies extended compared to just 30% who say let them expire. Again, we're talking double, more than double on the extend side versus the let expire. And even 45% of Republicans on my little note there say that they should be extended. Again, we're talking about an issue that unites Democrats and cracks the Republican base right down the middle. This is just awful politics for Republicans.
And finally, here's what Donald Trump said. His message to the 24 million Americans who will see their health insurance premiums about to skyrocket. Let's play it.
Mr. President, at the end of this year, those extended Obamacare subsidies expire. What's your message to those 24 million Americans who will see their insurance premiums go up?
Don't make it sound so bad because, obviously you're a sycophant for Democrats. You're obviously a provider of bad news for Republicans. Let me just say something. The Republicans, I think I can speak for Tom and most other people. I think what most Republicans want to see is what I want to see. And I leave it to them, and hopefully they're going to put great legislation on this desk right here.
What a horrific regime. What a horrific regime. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. What evil people. What evil person he is. What an evil regime. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching. Hey, Midas Mighty, it's Ben, Brett, and Jordy, and we just want to thank you for being the backbone of this movement.
This year tested us more than ever, but together we proved that pro-democracy voices don't just compete, we win.
We took on the entire MAGA machine, won a Webby for Podcast of the Year,
the MeidasTouch podcast,
and you were with us every step of the way.
And trust us, what we're working on next is bigger, bolder, and built for 2026.
Let's keep this momentum going, spread the word, we are just getting started.
Shout out to the Midas Mighty!